Hey, and welcome to the mixing process. Today in this video, I'm going to show you a really cool trick to make vocals sound nice and big and full. See, one of the challenges that we have in mixing recorded vocals is that often completely raw vocals can sound really thin and weak by themselves, and that's just the nature of a recording. See, it's recording a sound source that's only a couple inches away from a mic, and it doesn't take into context the room or how thick the vocal is by itself or any of those things. So in today's video, I want to teach you how to deal with that in our sessions, and there's two primary tools that I use. So let's get into it. All right, the two tools that I use in my vocals to make them sound nice and big and full are doublers and slap delays. And you may have heard of using delays on vocals, but a slap delay is a very specific, unique kind of vocal that adds a lot of texture and thickness to it. So I'm gonna open up a session here and show you exactly how I use them in my sessions. But really quick, if you haven't already gone to my website and downloaded my free mixing guide, the 7-step mix, I'd encourage you to go do that on the website, themixingprocess.com. This guide will actually walk you through step by step your own mixes and teach you some helpful tricks like the ones that we're talking about in this video. So let's get into the session. Okay, we're going to start with a doubler here. So in this session, I have a male vocal, and then I've got two sends go into two different tracks. I've got the doubler on one and a slap delay on the other, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can use them on a vocal. This is a doubler plugin, and the concept of a doubler is basically it creates slightly different copies of the original track. So I have my original vocal track here, and it's going to take that track and make a few different copies of it, and it's going to put them in different places in the stereo image. So you've got a kind of a picture of what it's doing here. I've got two different copies or doubles of that, one on the left, one on the right, and you can see they're panned a little differently. They've got different delays on them. They're detuned a little bit from each other, and that way the ear actually perceives that there's different sources making that sound that you're hearing. So that's why it's called a doubler. It kind of multiplies the sound of that original track. So let's listen to what it sounds like real quick without the doubler, and then I'm going to kind of fade in the doubler, and we're going to see what a big difference that actually makes.
Yours is the kingdom, yours is the glory, the name above all names.
So even right there, it just made it nice and big and thick, and that's exactly what we're going for. One more thing with this doubler, we obviously want to make it sound slightly different than the original track. And so another thing we can do is we can actually EQ these doubles a little bit differently to give it a little bit different of a tone to separate it from the original track. That's another thing that we can do if we want. This one has a high shelf on it, add a little bit of sparkle compared to what the original track has. Okay, the second tool that we're using is a slap delay. A slap delay is basically a really short delay with very few repeats. So sometimes you can have delays with a lot of repeats. They're nice and long and they blend well with reverbs. This one is aimed at providing a specific texture, and so it's very short, very quick. It's 80 milliseconds and then only a couple repeats. And if you just get a picture of yourself standing in front of a brick wall or between two buildings, and you shout and you kind of hear that flutter back and forth, that's kind of the sound of a slap delay. So this is more of an effect that creates texture than a long drawn out sound. So I'm going to turn this doubler off, and we're going to listen to what this delay sounds like. Same thing, we'll start with it off, we'll kind of fade it in.
Yours is the kingdom, yours is the glory, the name above all names.
All right, so again, same thing, kind of added some texture, some little flutter to it. And that's just an interesting tone that we can add some thickness to our vocal. So obviously I have these turned up a lot louder than I would, just so that you can hear them super well. But let me blend them together a little bit better the way I would have them in a vocal.
Yours is the kingdom. Yours is the glory, the name above all names, the name above all.
Okay, so that sounds pretty good. The next step is to kind of blend it together with the rest of these effects I have running. So I have some reverb, some other delays in there. So let's blend it and see how well it works there.
Yours is the kingdom. Yours is the glory, the name above all names, the name above all names.
All right, so when you add it back in there, it adds just that thickness, that depth to the vocal that it didn't have before. It's a little subtle with everything else in there, but it is there. It adds that thickness that we're really looking for. So next time you're working with a vocal that you really just need to add some depth and some beef to, these are two great tools that you can use to make that happen for your mix. Hopefully that was helpful for you. If you have any questions about this, if this still doesn't quite make sense to you, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to help you understand these tools a little bit better. Also, if this was helpful for you, I'd love it if you'd like this video and subscribe to the channel. That'll help push this content out to more people. We can all help each other get better at this. This is what this channel is all about. But thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. We will see you on the next one.